Bonjour. Bonjour. Doesn't that mean hello in French? Yes, but we don't usually say hello that way. If you're from upper crust, you might. You don't sound right. I want you to sound like Rosie. Okay, hello. How's everybody? See, even in your sweet voice, you don't sound like that. You don't sound uppity. Well, I don't like I'm being uppity. I just like to pretend. But bonjour means hello. Yes, it does.
Hi, guys.
I don't know what guys is in French, so. Or hi. Probably bon men. Bon nuit. I don't know. Better cut that part out. Hi. She went back to the old American English Standard. Almost sounds like a version of something. Anyway. Yes, it is. Well, Sunday, your Monday. Our Sunday, your Monday.
That's right, it is. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, for one thing, look in front of you.
The tree, it's there. I like the tree. All the ornaments are on the tree.
Which one's mine? I didn't make those ornaments for you guys. But why? Well, because we made ornaments for your dog houses, remember? We decorated your dog houses.
Oh, that's right. And I got a tree. No, I got a snowman.
I got a tree.
We got it covered. We even got our stockings on.
Okay, sorry, I've got some gum because my mouth just wants to keep going dry. We left off with Sheridan having had some really weird and tormenting dreams mostly about her past. And so we're going to start here where she wakes up. Sheridan awoke and sat up in her bed. Her body was wet with her own sweat. She reached down and grabbed her abdomen. The well-healed scar was still there where it had been. But everything else seemed hollow in her belly. Then she remembered the child she'd lost. Why had she dreamed the man who caused her husband Mark's death and the loss of her child was Mark himself? Had she somehow blamed him all these years? It was from a memory buried in time, and now it surfaced to torment her again. Sheridan was glad to be awake and in a friendlier bed. Memories could be painful, but this wasn't memory. It was torment. She pushed it from her mind. Today I am hidden away from the trauma of that time. I have things to explore. She ran through the list of things in the present. She did the exercise when the anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder tried to grasp her thoughts again. A loud racket outside the room disrupted her thoughts. She heard Catch whisper to somebody to be more quiet. Looking out the window, Sheridan realized it was still night. Now what? She asked herself. I'm wide awake. But when she lay back down on her pillow, it wasn't long until she was slumbering quietly. No more dreams or noises bothered her that night. Waking up the next morning was a relief. The night riddled with dreams began to disconnect from the waking events of the morning. She remembered the dreams vividly. She heard that dreams often helped to deal with things that people couldn't or didn't want to deal with consciously. History was full of interpreters of dreams and their meanings. She didn't want to try to interpret that night's horrifying images. She wanted to rid herself of them for good. Daylight poured through the window, and a breeze blew softly through a sliver of open space, deliberately measured for just the right amount of air movement. Catch had visited her room again. Such intrusions no longer bothered her. However, when she swung her legs over the bedside, she noticed a crystal bud vase next to her bed on the table. The vase held an odd flower. It was the Luna's flower. She reached over and touched it. How soft and breathtaking. The ivory-colored, feathery petals that felt so delicate were strong under her fingers. They were soft with a silky smoothness, and the golden stamen looked unfinished. It wasn't quite mature enough to let go of its pollens. Oh, but how beautiful the color. It almost radiated its golden hue, but only almost. She grasped the stem very lightly between her fingers so she could twirl it. It was strong for a flower stem, especially for such a delicate-looking flower. It was like a rose stem, without the thorns. Then she brushed the leaf with the side of her finger. It was thick. Its heart-shaped shape had red veins following the center from which it attached to the stem. It didn't seem full grown, but Sheridan could not have said why. Bringing it to her nose, the fragrance of the lunas flower was like new life. The smell of a baby came to mind. It was not an overpowering smell at all. It was like a scented soap, clean and untouched. It was so close to perfect. She knew why nobody had captured its essence in any art form. She carefully slipped the flower back into the small vase. Her heart raced, as if parting with it brought the reality of its presence to the front of her consciousness. How had the dream flower become real? Catch must have brought it in when he came to open the window. That opened yet another question, though. Why was he so secretive about its location? Where did he get it? Sheridan let out a deep sigh, then got up and dressed for the day. Today she would explore the meadow. After she confronted Catch about the disturbance during the night, although she thought, thankfully, she woke to a refreshing breeze and the gift of the lunas flower, she should thank him for that. Catch was such a contradiction. Even his hands seemed to have more significance. She felt there was a reason one was a child's hand and the other a man. It was more than a birth defect. She'd seen him work with both, noticing how they almost worked without the knowledge of the other. It was as if they moved like the tentacles of an octopus. What should she say? How could she tell him she didn't like him going in and out of her room, but still tell him how thankful she was for the amazing gift? She didn't want to send a mixed message to him. Sheridan brushed the curtain back, hoping the door would be gone. To the replica of her house. To her surprise, it was there, unlocked and easily opened. She looked into her home from Lincoln, exactly as it had been when Catch directed her to it. She didn't dare close the door, for it may disappear. She reached behind her and opened the door into the inn's hallway. Sheridan backed quickly through it, afraid something else would change if she didn't monitor it. As she closed the door in front of her, she turned reluctantly away from it and moved forward. With her large loom-woven shoulder tote held over her back with 2 fingers, she approached the ornate staircase to the lobby. 2 male voices caught her interest as she descended. That's it for chapter 6. Next time we'll find out who the other voice is. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like us, touch that notification button, comment please, and share us. See you next time.